Hey everybody, welcome to Bestie Book Reviews. I'm here with my bestie Mandy.
And I'm here with my bestie, Jessica.
So once again, it is time for our 1-minute book recs, or our weekly reading wrap up, where we talk about all the books that we read this week with 1-minute synopsises. Synopses. Oh no, we're back to that again. Before we get started, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. We are still doing our Road to 1K giveaway. So Mandy, tell them what's going on with that.
Okay, when we hit 500, we have this cinch sack full of goodies and this book for you. Also, follow us on Instagram for an extra entry. We're trying to make that quick.
Yeah, all that information is linked down below in the description.
Show us some love, like, subscribe. Thank you.
Yeah. Mandy has goals, and she is like, we're gonna hit them goals. So yeah, okay. So how was your reading week?
It was, I don't know. There were some good books. There were some okay books. I'm reading a really good book right now, so if we could speed this up.
I don't know. I'm kind of dragging my feet because I have to go to my son's little jazz performance today in town, and I'm not the biggest fan of jazz. So
I am reading Jade West's new book, The Man Upstairs, and so far it is so good. So it just came out. I'm very excited. I'm loving it. Thank you for introducing me to her.
You're so welcome. I've got 2 books that I really want to read this weekend that you're making me read, that I really want to. You're not making
me read. You just need
that you've read that I desperately want to read, but I have to go sit down and watch a bunch of 17-year-olds sing jazz this weekend instead.
Yeah, you're gonna have your Kindle out and be like,
"Oh, it's my child's turn! Woohoo!" Okay, back to the yeah. That's how it's gonna be. So, okay. So, how many books did you read?
I got 6 in.
Yep, and I got 9 in, but you and I read the same book, so I'm going to talk about 8. You'll talk about 1 for both of us. So
yes, I'm going to grab the timer. Are you ready?
I am ready.
All right.
Okay. So the first book I read is called The Ruby Brooch. It's by Catherine Lowry Logan. This is a time travel romance. This one's a little bit different. So I'm always on the hunt for another book like The Surviving Trace by Calla Reed, which if you've been to our channel, you know that we absolutely love The Surviving Trace. I've yet to find one like The Surviving Trace. But this one's a little bit different because our heroine, Kit, travels back in time to the 1800s, the Old West, and she goes on a wagon train that is headed to San Francisco. But Kit finds out her parents pass away. She finds out that she actually showed up on their doorstep as an infant and was adopted, but she showed up with this brooch and a shawl and so a note, and she discovers that she actually came from the past. Like her parents discovered that she came from the past somehow. And so she finds out that with this brooch, she can travel back in time to the 1800s to discover where she came from and who she is. And so when she travels back in time, she meets Cullen. So she's seen this ghost her whole life who was Cullen, this Scottish stud of a man who is a part of this wagon train headed west. And so this is their story. I gave it 4 stars. I actually really enjoyed it while I was listening to it. So it was cute. It was really good. It was a little different because it was a wagon. It was a Western. So it was different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get like Oregon Trail vibes.
Total. Yeah. And she's a paramedic. So she actually takes some medicines with her. So tell me about your first read.
Okay, so my first read was Wild and Free by Kristen Ashley. I really wanted to finish this last week because we read Wild and Free by Kay Webster. So that would be hilarious, but I didn't get it finished. It's a long one.
Mm-hmm.
So it completes the trilogy, the three series, I guess is what she actually calls it. So it completes that. So this is about Abel, who is a wolf vampire hybrid. And so in the first 2 books, we have our vampire, we have our wolf, now we have our wolf hybrid. So now they're going to be able to save the world. So Abel and Delilah meet, and this took insta love to like a whole new level. And it was like insta love. There were times where I just got really bored with this story. And I really wanted to love it because I loved the first two. So I was like, why am I getting bored? But there was so much other stuff going on, but it felt like nothing was going on, if that makes sense. There was just like jumps around a lot. And I don't know. And Delilah called Abel baby like so much. And normally I know like people don't like baby, but I normally like baby. It was overdone in this. And that they wanted to live wild and free was like way overdone. So there were just times where I got really bored. And then it would go back to giving me the feels like it did in the first two books. So I'm glad I read it to complete the series, but it just didn't live up to the other two books. So I only rated it 3 stars.
Yeah. I think I went and looked. I rated it 4, but I think part of that was I was just happy it was over. And I was so into the whole trilogy part, like the 3 of it, and I liked seeing the other characters. I was really into. I'm also a little bit more into the fantasy and paranormal aspects of a book than you are, and I think that could be why. But
I loved the first 2. This just got, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I just when I do a reread of that series, I always do the first 2 and I leave off the last one.
Yeah.
But you need that conclusion. I did anyway. So
yeah. I felt like it could have been trimmed down a lot, and then
I've heard a lot of people say that, or I've read a lot of reviews that said that.
But the other 2 were awesome, so I don't want to take away from like the trilogy at all. But anyway.
Yeah. So okay.
All right. Tell us about your next read.
Okay. So I did another time travel romance because I'm again still on that elusive hunt. So I read The Shield and the Thistle. This is by Jillian Bondachuk, I think is how you say her last name. So this is about Maggie and Colin. So Maggie travels. She's lives in New York in our time, and she breaks up with her boyfriend. She has no place to go, so she goes to visit her grandma in Scotland. And when she's there, she goes hiking near one of the old castles. And it's she's hiking up around the castle. She's heard some of the stories in Scotland, you know, all the old wives' tales and stuff that they have there. And she ends up falls into this this like cavern. And when she wakes up, she's injured, but she wakes up in 1658 and she is injured, and she gets found by this guy, and he is a Scottish warrior. His brother is the Laird, and basically this is their story. She can't get back home. She eventually figures out how she can get back home, but she chooses not to go back home, and this is their story. It was good. I gave it 4 stars. I think I like the Oregon Trail one a little bit better. But they actually mentioned the Donner Party in the Oregon Trail one. It was awesome. But they're both different. This one was very, very Outlander for me. There were a lot of things that were very much the same as an Outlander. There was a nod. Like I was like, I think that happened in Outlander. Even like the opening sequences, I was like, I am pretty sure I read that in Outlander. If you like Outlander, you probably like this one a lot. But it was very much, I was like, I probably should just go read Outlander if I want to read that one. But I did like, and I liked the way it ended. It was a little bit different, like the way they resolved everything. It was different. It was 4. It was good. It was good. I'm more of a Western girl myself. So, you know, yeah. Give me that cowboy.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this is going to be shocking, but apparently I went back to my drug addict heroine, our hero. Oh, what is wrong with me? I don't know. I didn't know he was a drug addict when I started the book, though. So that's my excuse. Okay. So I read Steadfast by Serena Bowen.
Oh, I love that one.
What?
I love that one.
Yeah, it was really good. It was a solid 4-star read for me. This is about Jude and Sophie. And Jude and Sophie are like high school sweethearts, I suppose you would say. And then they start off and she goes to college and he is working for his dad. And I think that goes on for like about a year. And then there's a car accident and Sophie finds out that Jude has been a drug addict. He's addicted to pain pills. He goes away to prison he gets out. He refuses to talk to Sophie while he's in prison because he just feels like, I actually love this about him. He actually has visions of what her life is going to be like while he's in prison. Like he thinks about her meeting this wonderful man and just living this like beautiful life that he knows that he can't give her. And I just love that because a lot of times we have heroes who like obsess and like he just wants what's best for her, and I really enjoyed that about him. But he ends up moving back to town after he gets out, and I should also mention Sophie's dad is the chief of police and he does not approve of Jude, and Sophie's living at home because Sophie's brother has died and she's trying to kind of hold the family together, and she runs into Jude and all those feelings are still there. Kind of goes from there. It was good.
It was good. It's good. Yeah.
Apparently it's part of a series, you were telling me.
Yeah, I think most of Sarah Bowen's stuff is a 4-star, solid 4 stars for me. That whole series was good. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So the next book that I read is called Raw Deal, and it's by Sherry Lynn. So this is about Savannah and Mike. So Savannah's brother, it was an MMA fighter, and he was in a fight with Mike, who has some MMA fighting name, but his actual name is Mike. And in the last round of the fight, when they were fighting, Mike and Savannah's brother, Mike throws a punch and it killed Savannah's brother. And so the book opens up at the brother's funeral, and Mike just feels horrendous. And it is a private funeral, but Mike shows up at the funeral because he just feels like crap. And Savannah is there with the brother's wife, and she's trying to console her, and they break off from the funeral, and they are off having a moment, and he wants to go talk to them, and he's trying to make amends, and he's trying to, do something for them. Like he just wants to, let them know that he just feels horrible. And so this is their story, Savannah, Mike. They have a spark and they have a connection. And he wants to be there for them. He caused this situation in their family, and it was good. It was 4 stars. It was gut wrenching at times because, oh my gosh, he caused the death of her brother, like horrible.
We have a theme.
This week's theme on Bestie Book Reviews is yeah, so it was 4 stars. It was good. It's an older book. I think the audio was released in 2016. So it's older, but it's good. When I say 2016 is older, doesn't that make you want to puke?
I don't know. We're getting older.
No, we're not. I am still 24. I don't know about you.
Well, it's weird how old your children are.
Those aren't my kids. They just came with the house.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
My next book is called The British Bachelor by K.K. Allen. And when I got this book, I just was like, ooh, British Bachelor? That sounds fantastic. But he was actually the British Bachelor, like on a Bachelor type TV show. And things don't go well for Liam. So he ends up leaving behind a lot of drama because he was really misunderstood. And he comes to the United States to spend, just kind of get away from everything. So he's staying at his brother's best friend's house. And they are a doctor and I think a nurse, and they have a nanny. And the nanny is Chelsea. And they're on vacation, and so she just randomly happens to hear like somebody playing music and swimming in a pool, and it's Liam, and she's like, who are you? And so that's how they kind of meet, and it goes from there. I listened to it. It's quick, it's fun. The British accent is really good. There, look at that. I was like ahead of my time.
Woohoo!
Yeah, so it was a good listen on Audible for me.
Okay.
I liked it.
Okay. Yeah. My next one was an Audible listen while I was at work trying to get some stuff out for the day. So this one I listened to was an alien romance. It's called Wed to the Alien Warrior by January Bell. So this is the first in a series, and I was kind of hoping it would be like Ice Planet Barbarians, and it was a little bit of a letdown. It was okay. This was a 3-star read for me. So this one is about Nikki. Nikki is the commander in an all-female crew who gets sent to this planet to try to get some intel and some stuff that they need from this planet. There has been an attack on Earth by another group of aliens at some point, and we need this group to help us. It's an all-female crew, and they were told they had to sign an NDA. They had to sign this information. We're not sure why it's all female, but when they get there, the girls don't have translators, so they're not 100% sure what's going to happen. They're going to get translators after the celebration when we get there. Once they get there, they don't realize that the celebration is a wedding ceremony because they don't understand what's going on. Yeah. So they all get husbands. It was a good time. It was fun. Nothing ever compares to Ice Planet. Let's be honest, people. Let's be honest. But it was a fun little read.
What the name was again?
What?
What did you say the name was again?
Wed to the Alien Warrior.
Wed.
What'd you say?
Webbed.
Oh no.
These aliens webbed.
Oh no, these guys are kind of lizardish. They're green.
Oh my God.
They're kind of lizardish. They're humanoid-y lizardish.
I just don't understand the attraction to a lizardish alien.
Yeah. They have certain appendages, apparently. I don't know.
That are horned. Or at least they were in that one book you made me read.
This one's not horned. He has things that vibrate.
I just can't.
Oh, but you will. Oh, but you will.
I'm going to do that again for a bestie, convincing my bestie.
I think we have viewers out there that would love to see more Alien. I really do.
Okay, if you are a viewer that would love to see more Alien, drop us some Alien emojis down below in the comments.
If you just want to see me torture Mandy with more Alien, just drop us some Alien emojis. Crap, that means I gotta come up with more Alien. Dang it.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna find some more ways.
No, you will not.
I will.
All right, what was your next book?
Okay, my next book is one that we both read.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Do you want me to set my timer though and leave? Set the timer. Go outside.
No, don't leave. You can stay.
I meant leave like.
No, we both read it, so I guess you can stay. I'll give you permission to hang out with me.
I meant, do you want me to switch just to me with the 1 minute timer?
Sure. No, it doesn't matter. I don't think it matters.
Okay.
Whatever you want to do.
So I'm setting the timer. Okay. So Jessica and I both read Rocklin by S.L. Lake. This was sent to us by the author, so we both got them.
Yeah, so thank you.
Yep. That's pretty cool. So thank you for the book. So this is about David and Becca. Becca is the vice president's daughter. So she ends up with, as she calls them, goons that follow her everywhere, which is actually the Secret Service, but she calls them goons. And David is a rock star, but he is getting ready to go solo. And we see them when they first they've known each other for a while because their dads are both in politics. So they've kind of been in the same circle, but they have this kind of moment when she's 16 and she loses the Secret Service to go to his concert, and they have this almost kiss, but she's 16 and he's like 4 or 5 years older. And he has not been able to stop thinking about this kiss. So we fast forward 5 years later and he sees her on TV, and he's still like very much like obsessed with this like almost kiss in her. And so he goes off to find her. And that is where the story picks up, and it's like their story. For me, there were this might sound odd, but there was a lot of sex scenes, like smutty. So if you were looking for that, definitely in this book for you. For me, it kind of took a little bit away from driving the story forward, but that's just my preference on that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I feel the same way. I wish there was a little bit more plot than there was. What do we call it? I wish it was a little bit more plot driven. But I mean, it was her first book, so you know, it's all good. Yeah. Oh, it's my turn again. Okay.
Ready?
I guess. My next one is a little bit more disappointing. So I read Morally Blasphemous, and this is by Veronica Lancet. So this one, I only gave 2 stars, and I think that was being generous. So this is about Marcello and Catalina. So when Catalina was 17, she ended up being raped and getting pregnant. This is a very, I want to say it's religious. They're Catholic. It's a very religious mafia romance. And because she ended up getting pregnant, they sent her to live in a convent. And then 10 years later, so she ends up getting to keep the baby, and she raises the baby in a convent. 10 years later, she gets out because she ends up murdering a priest. And then there's a serial killer on the loose, and then her brother has her marry the Marcello, who is in a different mafia family, to protect her. But you can't touch him because he can't stand to be touched. But then when she touches him, all of a sudden he can be touched. And even though he's in the mafia, he's trying to catch a serial killer, even though he's not a detective. And this was just a little bit too much for me, because apparently we do all the tropes in this book. Oh my gosh. And your 10-year-old talks like she's 25. So.
Oh, yeah. That is always rough for me when kids aren't portrayed well.
Right. She's 10, so I get it, because I think about my youngest, who's 13, and, you know, it was only a few years ago that she was 10, if I do my math correctly. And, you know, but my kid, no. The things this child was saying and the way she was behaving, now I understand she was raised around nuns, so I get it, okay? But at the same time, she's 10, and she doesn't use these big, weird words that an adult would use. And no. She's also been raised very sheltered. So, no, you don't talk like you're 25. Even a 25-year-old don't talk that way.
If that's how your character is going to be, then you have to address it. And
you have to explain it.
The child, you know, like you have to explain why the child's like that. Like,
yes. Because your child is also completely obsessed with chocolate. Because they just got it for the first time, and is very innocent in other regards as well. So it has to be explained. And that, to me, as a parent, is something that is really hard it's just really hard for me to get into a book when you have a child that doesn't act like a child, because I have kids and I'm looking at my kids going, look, that doesn't work. That doesn't mesh, because mine are running through the house as I'm reading this book. And I'm going, yeah, no, that doesn't fly. So it takes me immediately, just sucks me right out. Plus, you know, I get it if it's a mafia book and there's been a few murders and they're trying to figure out who's done a murder or whatever, or they know that it's this rival family. But when you're acting like a detective and there's a crime scene and you're in here trying to figure out who the murderer is like a detective, I'm sorry. This is not happening. It's not happening. And then you tell this woman that you're marrying that you're not going to have a real marriage. And then 3 minutes later, she touches you, and all of a sudden, oh my God, we can touch. Hallelujah. Let's touch. No, it did not work for me at all. I should have given it less, but I just can't be that mean. I can't be that mean.
All right. How about we talk about my next book?
Please, or I'm going to
Let's move
continue on.
Okay. My next book was X-Rated Attraction by Kay Webster. This is Olivia. She is dating Caleb when she finds herself very attracted to Miles. He calls her damsel. She calls him villain. They have very hot, steamy sex. Oh, and did I mention Miles is Caleb's dad and Olivia is dating Caleb? Done. 30 seconds to spare.
That's enough.
4 stars. Loved it.
4 stars, what you said?
It's a novella. I think it's like right at 100 pages, but it was fantastic. Great little quick read.
Okay. Done. All right. My next one is a 5-star read. Let's do this.
Okay.
So this is The Pucking Wrong Number by C.R. Jane. We are going to see her in Vegas in October. This is a stalker hockey romance. Enough said. So this is about Lincoln. He texts the wrong number. Our heroine Monroe is a college student. She was a foster child. She works several jobs. She's, has a hard time just making ends meet. But she gets the wrong number or text to her, and she's like, who is this? And so she harasses this guy. So he thinks he's texting a socialite. He's missed a date, and he's trying to make up for it because his dad is a billionaire and is insisting he dates this person, and he doesn't want to, and he's trying to make up for that, and she's giving him a hard time, and he's like, did this vapid person finally get a personality? And he realizes that it's somebody other than this person, and so he tries to get as much information about her as he can. And once he does, then he starts stalking her before he meets her. And then once he meets her, he continues to do that. And he arranges things so that he can have her in his life. And he continues to stalk her. And then he continues to arrange things so that it works towards his benefit. So Lincoln has like all the red flags, and I am here for it. Like, he was over the top, possessive, crazy. But I give this 5 stars. Like, there's a part where he chains her to the bed when she tries to leave. Like, I'm all over it. So if you like those crazies, guys, this wasn't even morally gray. This was morally black with red flags.
Was she okay with it when he like chains her to the bed?
No. Oh. Why would you be? Nope.
Mm-hmm.
No. Yeah. I told you yesterday, one of the reviews said, if this was your book boyfriend, you need to seek help. And I was like, okay, but no, I'm not getting help. I'm just going to go find another book market. So yeah. So tell me about your next one.
Okay. So this was my only 5-star read of the week. It was fantastic. So I read Calla Reed's Unhinged, which is book number 2 in her Fairfax series. Now, this is like a romantic suspense that takes you on a journey like no other. I cried. I was freaked out. Like, this book was fantastic. I absolutely love it. That she totally delivered. So just a tiny snippet of what the book is about. This focuses on Victoria. Fairfax is a mental hospital or psych ward. And Victoria is there with her baby, Evelyn. And you're probably thinking, how is a baby in a psych ward? Well, the baby's not in a psych ward. If you read the first book, you already know that Victoria carries around a baby doll, like a plastic baby doll, and pretends like, to her, it's not pretend. To her, this is her real life daughter, Evelyn. And she has visitors. Wes visits her, or like, does he visit her because she's in a psych ward? Like, how much can we really believe from her? Her mom comes to see her sometimes. This guy named Sinclair shows up. It is really, it's a ride. It is a ride. So good. So good.
Mm-hmm.
I can't really talk about it. Like, you just have to go read it.
I'll be starting that one either today or tomorrow. So yeah.
So good. I would love to talk to you about it. Spoiler free, of course. So we need to talk about it off camera. So once you've read it, let's discuss it.
We will be. That will be phone calls because I was getting memes yesterday from you while you were reading this.
No.
Friends meme. So.
I sent her the Friends, the Janice one, where it's like, oh my God.
Friends is our thing from school. So yeah. But, yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so my next one, I don't really have a lot to say about this one, but we're going to talk about it for a second. So I read The Compeer, and this is by Jamie Applegate Hunter. So this is a high fantasy romance. There's not a lot to say about this one. It's about Winnie and Thad. I really don't want to say anything about this just because I read it and I really didn't get it. I was like, there was potential in this story. But then when I was looking at the information about it on Goodreads, she's taking it down within the next couple of months to be completely rewritten. And it needs to be. It was her first novel. It was her first series. And it does need to be written because the flow isn't there. I had given it 2 stars and I was like, man, I really wish certain things had been redone. And it even says in there, it's going to be completely rewritten. So we're not even going to talk about it because you need to wait for it to be rewritten. It had potential, great potential. I just got bored in a lot of spots. So I read it for no good reason because I didn't read that part first. Dang it. Next. All right. So then for my last book. So I read Forgive Me My Sins. This is the first in a duet by Natasha Knight. I actually started the duet last night in the second book and I didn't finish it. But this is about Santos and Madalena. So when Madalena is, I think she was 15, she is promised to Santos. This is a mafia romance. She is given to him, like there is a situation in their family. She's brought downstairs. Her hand is cut. So they bleed on the same piece of paper. And then she starts, she goes off to school, like on her prom night, the person that she's supposed to be going on a date with, harasses her and Santos shows up and is like, nope, she belongs to me. And then when she's 18, a certain situation happens, same thing happens. He finds out that her dad has been abusing her and dad gets his hand smashed in because she belongs to him. And then when they're 20, they get married. But there's all these other things behind the scenes, like someone mysteriously murdered her uncle. He actually sends her to a convent school for 2 years so that her dad can't touch her. I haven't figured out what's going on 100% yet because I have to finish the book. I have to get into the second half. So right now we're sitting at like 3.5 stars because I still don't know what's happening. So there you go. But I do love Natasha Knight. So normally her books are around 4 stars.
What do you mean you have to finish the book? Why are you?
It's a duet. It's split in 2.
Oh, okay.
So it's an arranged marriage, but I'm not 100% sure why they're being forced into this situation because we haven't got there yet.
Okay, I was just confused because you were saying you
I am too.
Finished the book, and I'm like, so why are you talking about it?
I don't know. I finished the first book, but I don't know why they're being forced into this marriage. I really don't. I'm kind of confused. So I'll know next week. Maybe. I don't know. I'll know by the end of today. So, all right, guys. That is what we have for you today. Let us know if you want to see Mandy read some more aliens. That is like, put the alien emoji down there. I am so ready for that. But thank you so much for watching.
Make sure to check back on Mondays, Thursdays, and Saturdays for new videos from us.
And until then, I'll be reading some more alien romance, and we will see you in the next video.